Now that we've discussed both Rankine cycles and Brayton cycles, I want to talk about combined cycles. Combined cycles are a way that these two cycles can be combined together to increase the overall efficiency of a power plant. So to begin this, let's just review this overall view of a heat engine. So we have a cycle here, and this could be any type of cycle. The two examples that we've looked at in detail are the Rankine cycle and the Brayton cycle. But they both receive heat from some high temperature reservoir, produce work, which we use to generate electricity, and then reject heat to the surroundings. So when viewed from this point of view, they both are the same essentially. Now, what a combined cycle does is combines two of these together. So if we do that, we have so the first cycle draws heat from a high temperature reservoir and produces work. But the second cycle, its heat supply is the heat rejected out of the first cycle. And then it produces additional work and then ultimately rejects some heat to the surroundings. So this is called a combined cycle. Two cycles acting in series. The waste heat from the top cycle is feeding or is supplying the heat to the bottom cycle. So that's what we're going to take a look at. Well, it turns out when you do this, the overall efficiency of this situation is quite a bit better than just a single cycle. So we'll take a look at an example of that in a moment. Now, in terms of terminology, the cycle operating up here at the higher temperatures is called the topping cycle, and the cycle operating down here at lower temperatures is called the bottoming cycle. And it turns out that the two cycles we've taken, the Rankine cycle and the Brayton cycle, take on these roles. Well, if we have a topping cycle that has a thermal efficiency of 40%, so that's the ratio of this work produced divided by this heat supplied. Same definition of thermal efficiency that we've used all along. So work divided by heat supplied of 40%. And if the bottoming cycle, when viewed alone, also has an efficiency of 40%, so that would be this work produced divided by the heat supplied to it, which is this heat input there. Let's say that that's also 40%. The overall efficiency of this cycle works out to 64%. So the combined cycle has an efficiency of 64% because for the combined cycle, the work output is the sum of these two because they're both work being delivered to the surroundings, but the heat supplied to the cycle is only this QH because that's the only Q that we need to supply from outside of this combined machine. So a significant increase in efficiency over just operating one of these cycles by itself. So this is a combined cycle, and many of the power plants being designed and built today or being retrofitted are combined cycles for this reason. So next we're going to take a look inside of these circles. What are the machines, what are the heat engines that are used in the topping cycle and the bottoming cycle? Well, as I said, we've already talked about these. So the topping cycle would be a Brayton cycle because it generally operates at much higher temperatures than a Rankine cycle. So the heat supplied to the Brayton cycle would be the heat supplied to the combustion chamber. And in this example, this Brayton cycle has a reheater, so there would also be heat supplied there. So that's the heat input to this combined cycle. Then what happens? After the Brayton cycle is done, we have hot exhaust gases coming here. They're used to boil water in a steam generator in the bottoming cycle, which is a Rankine cycle. So this is the Rankine cycle that we also discussed in detail just a while ago. So the waste heat from the Brayton cycle is used as the heat supply for the Rankine cycle. And there is heat rejected to the surroundings in the condenser of the Rankine cycle. So the net or the overall efficiency of this machine, this combined cycle, is quite a bit higher than either the Brayton cycle or the Rankine cycle operating by themselves. Now, this device in here where heat is transferred from the topping cycle to the bottoming cycle is called the heat recovery steam generator. So the name is modified a little bit there just to indicate its purpose. It's a heat recovery steam generator because it's recovering heat from the topping cycle and using it to generate steam in the bottoming cycle. So this is a picture of a part of the Queen Elizabeth Power Station just upstream of the city of Saskatoon. And this is looking around behind one of the buildings. So this building has 6 gas turbines in it, and those gas turbines, the exhaust from them, comes out of the building into these devices. So that's the heat recovery steam generator. So the exhaust gases from the gas turbine are being used in those devices to boil water, to heat up water, and take it to the Rankine cycle to go through a steam generator to generate additional electricity.